Hi, Jane Rekas, Hood River Hypnosis. I hope you had a chance to watch my first video on what to expect in a hypnosis session in general. And now I'd like to tell you a little bit about what to expect in a regression session. And I do various forms of spiritual regression. Primary form would be past life regression. And so that's mainly what I'm going to talk about, but I also do child regression, timeline therapy, how to meet your spirit guide or your animal totem, those kind of other types of regressions. So how regression works is essentially relaxing you in the same method that happens in regular hypnosis sessions to the point where you can remember what's held in your subconscious, or some would say what's in your Akashic field, Akashic record, similar to the idea of the Book of Life. If I were to ask you what you had for dinner, you would have to think about that, and you might go, what did I have for dinner last night? I had chicken and green beans that I sauteed with peanut butter and soy sauce. So I had to search around even when I was asking myself the question. And that is essentially a lot of what it's going to feel like when you are guided to visit a past life or past lives. You will not know the answer right at first. And then you will think about it and it will pop into your mind if I'm asking you, are you inside or outside? What's your name? Who's in your family? Those kind of things will feel like you don't know, and then suddenly you know. Another common thing that will happen to most people is that you will feel a little bit like you're making it up. And that's your left brain really trying to discount what's happening in your right brain and your memory. And memory retrieval when it feels like, well, this can't be possible. Part of what I tell people is it doesn't really matter if you believe in reincarnation or if you believe that it's really working or true. The same therapeutic benefit happens. And let's talk about that. What is the therapeutic benefit that we are looking for? And you might even say, well, I don't really want therapeutic benefit. I'm just curious. And yes, many people come to wanting a past life regression out of curiosity. Who else were they in the past? Where did they live? Why did they like this certain culture? I'm a mental health therapist and have been for 25 years and have been a hypnotist, certified hypnotist for almost, well, 4.5 years. And so, of course, my perspective is a little bit more towards therapy, but even if I weren't, most people who become trained in doing past life regression, how it was discovered, and so what they're looking for is to resolve symptoms. There were a couple of hypnotists. One is the psychiatrist, Dr. Brian Weiss. It might be Weiss. And another one is, I think, a psychologist, and his name is Dr. Michael Newton. And they both did childhood regressions, and then, you know, they were saying, well, let's go to the origin of your symptom that isn't going away or being resolved. And people would go younger and younger and younger, and then they would say they were in another place and time, and that is how it was initially discovered. So the reason why it is a way to resolve symptoms is so the theory or the metaphor is, if you had a trauma in a past life, and particularly a traumatic death, being able to retrieve that memory and have it no longer be in your subconscious only, it's sort of a cathartic experience, and then you can let go of it being interrupting your current life. So another thing that's important to say is that on a maybe more metaphysical level, if you do believe in reincarnation, you could think of having an oversoul. So it might be like a wagon wheel, and there's the hub of the wagon wheel, and then there are, spikes coming out from it. And the hub that connects all of the spikes that are your past lives is your oversoul. And you are your complete oversoul. This incarnation is one manifestation of your essence. All of the other lives are also you. And if you heal a past life and you get to feel that that life is now in the spirit world at peace, then that energy is returned to the hub, and then there's more to be divided up to the remaining spokes, and you receive a little bit more energy and your frequency raises. If you're familiar with the idea of raising your vibration, raising your frequency. So let's see. So you will encounter characters in your past lives, perhaps. You may be able to interact with your family at that time. And I will ask you what your name is, and I will ask you what the character you're interacting with's name is, and then I will ask you, do you know this person? Do you know this person is in your life today? The reason we ask that line of questioning is you reincarnate, it is believed, in what is called soul groups. So your spouse in this life may have been in a past life. Again, you may have been spouses, but you may also have been a different relationship. Your mother in this life may have been your daughter in another life. So this helps resolve some questions or patterns in relationships by knowing what experience you've had with some really important people in your cast of characters in this life, what has happened with one or more of them in another life. So when I asked myself, or invited you as well, to think about what you had for dinner last night, that may or may not have been a visual experience. Usually it comes to you and you just know, and so you could have seen the meal, you could have remembered sort of the scene of having the meal, you could just hear the word. There could be different ways that could happen, and you're going to have the same experience with your past life recollection, which is to say that it may or may not include a visual component. I'm very visual, and I'll probably ask visual questions, but I've had clients who are not, who experience it, kinesthetic memories, who experience just words coming to them, just a knowing, just an intuition. They may feel things in their body. So it's a multi-sensory experience, and there's no expectation that it has to manifest in any certain way, and that helps alleviate a little bit of performance anxiety or pressure that you're not doing it right. There's not a right way. What's important is that you trust yourself, trust the experience, allow whatever comes up for you, whatever you feel that you're remembering, But usually the first thing that comes up is right, and will lead you along in the right direction in understanding and processing a past life. Some people feel that past lives are actually concurrent, that our sense of time as being linear may not be correct. So I will sometimes call it parallel lives. Now, the final thing that I will share is what to expect later. Many times, further details will come up to you shortly after, within the next couple of days, perhaps in dreams. You may want to do some journaling to access that and putting a little bit more understanding and processing of what the lessons were. We will be looking at what your past life has to share with you, what your spirit guides have to share with you about that past life, what you have to share with yourself in that other life. And all of those things can serve to help you resolve the question or intention that you originally set for the session. Thank you.